Good evening, everyone. If you just give us just a couple more minutes, a couple people are having difficulties attempting to sign in. So if you could be patient, just a couple more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Good evening, Mr. Hudson.
Good evening, Mrs. Berry. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well.
Right. Good to hear it. As I mentioned, for those who may have just joined, we're going to give maybe one more minute or so. There were some individuals having difficulties signing on, and so we'll just wait a couple more minutes or so before we get started. Again, definitely want to be mindful of everyone's time, so we will get started here shortly. I'm not exactly sure if everybody can read the chat or see the chat or not, but it was advised that if you're having difficulties, to please try to enter the meeting as an attendee, and then you will be promoted to a panelist, if that makes sense. So if you're having difficulties for whatever reason, exit the meeting, try to re-enter as an attendee, and then you will be promoted to a panelist.
Hi, Juan. It's Jen Frank. I just signed in
Okay.
um, on my, I think it's with my personal email on my personal phone because um, it didn't let me sign in as a panelist or an attendee with my county email.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't work on my computer, only on my phone.
Okay. Um, yeah, we are having a little bit of technical difficulties, and it was advised that individuals who were having issues to sign out try to use the attendee link to sign back in. Again, I apologize. Get started here shortly.
Juan, it's Jen. Are other members on camera? I can't see on this phone. Are members on camera?
So I only see one member that's actually on camera. I see other names, if that makes sense.
Yes. Like I said, I'm on using a different email on my personal phone because I couldn't get in even as an attendee with my work email, but it would appear that the public can get in because I was able to get in
Okay.
a different with an alternate email. But can members hear?
Yes. By a show of hands, if you could, youth council, please raise your hands if you can't hear my voice. Thank you. It appears that most can. Everybody did not, however, raise their hand. Once again, if you've already raised your hand, that's fine. But if you can hear my voice, please raise your hand to let me know that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So again, I want to apologize. I know we're off to a bit of a late start. We'll go ahead and get started in the interest of time. If people are still having issues getting in, we're going to do what we can on our end to get you promoted as panelists. And I am also responding to any and all emails that I'm also receiving. But again, in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and get started. So, Madam Chair, if you want to go ahead and get started, you can.
Okay, it's 5 p.m. Good evening, and I'll call the June 27th meeting to order. You can take roll call, John.
Yes, absolutely. When I call your name, if you're present, please indicate by either saying here or present, please. Precious Berry,
Here.
Sophie Chetman, Toby, Elizabeth Franklin,
Present.
Audrey Reese, Elise Green,
Here.
Erica Green,
Present.
Dale Burr, Dale Burr, Avery Clare, Avery Clare, Emily Brower, okay, Ejwar, Madam Chair. Okay. Ryan.
Seems like there are some people in the chat who said they're here.
Okay. Okay, or are they unable to? Sure. All right, Madam Chair. Roll call has been taken. It appears quorum has been established.
Okay, sounds good. Then up next, I motion to approve the meeting minutes for last meeting from May 23rd. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I apologize, but is there, can we just, before you take a vote on, again, I apologize. Dwan, how many people, how many members do you show are in attendance?
I have. I have 8.
Were all those people respond to the roll call?
Some did in the chat, I think.
Okay, all right.
And I don't think that you called my name.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Caitlin CPAC.
Okay, Ms. CPAC, I apologize if I didn't. I thought I did. I definitely counted you. But yes, I have you down.
I'm sorry.
Miss. No. You're fine. You're fine, Councilor Frank. Ms. Berry, you have a question, or were you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. How do I raise this hand down? I am so sorry. Oh, there you go. Sorry.
Okay, for the meeting minutes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it seems they've been approved. So for our next item, I think we're going to talk about the terms of the current YIC members and the meeting year beginning next year in the first of April, I think, or no. Yeah, the 1st of April. I think it says 9/1/23.
Absolutely. I can speak on that.
Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair.
You can start now.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's actually September 1. And so just to I guess kind of bring everybody up to speed on moving forward with the current session of this particular Youth Advisory Council. I previously sent out email asking members who all would like to serve a second one-year term. Per the current Youth Advisory Council ordinance, members are allowed to serve an additional 1-year term, right? I have received responses from a lot of you. Those responses have been forwarded to the individuals that make those decisions. Just to be clear, and like I explained before, that decision is not that decision is not up to me. But also, if you have decided or would like to serve an additional 1-year term, that's still a situation where it is not necessarily guaranteed. Sometimes what happens is that council members decide to give other youth an opportunity to serve on the council and other things like that. So I definitely wanted to make that clear that just simply indicating that yes, I would like to serve an additional 1-year term is not a guarantee that would happen. So, and then also some of you are currently in your second year currently, right? Which means you're not eligible per ordinance. You're not eligible to serve an additional year. like this marks your final go round with the council. So definitely wanted to make that clear as well. What happens in the way that things are currently set up and how they should kind of operate is that selections for new youth council members are supposed to have been like currently taking place. Those selections, um, again, and I'm speaking with the per the ordinance, right? Those selections should be completed by that August date, with the first meeting of the new council beginning in September. If that makes sense. There will be follow up literature and such that comes out advising if you've been selected to reserve a second term or not. I had hoped that prior to this meeting I would have received some updates with that process. I have not, so I don't have anything to share further as it relates to the next council and that selection process. The other thing also is that I know some had reached out and they mentioned that there were a lot of vacations and such that was going to take place in July, where members were not able to attend meetings, right, in July. And again, per the ordinance, the ordinance states that council members should serve a minimum of 8 regular meetings, right? This meeting marks the 8th meeting. So in other words, that requirement has been fulfilled, even if another meeting, for whatever reason, does not take place. There will be, again, like I said, I had hoped to receive some updates in terms of that selection process, how things are going, when the terms are going to be started and such. I was not able to get that information prior to this meeting. So all that to be said, if there will in fact be another meeting, sometimes in August, there will be an email sent out. A lot of you, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, a lot of you, your terms are scheduled to end in September. Some are scheduled actually to end in August. And I can definitely reach out individually to let you know exactly when those terms will be up. There will also be an additional email sent out speaking about the stipend that individuals are to receive. Again, we won't necessarily get into that during this meeting, but there will be a follow-up email indicating those next steps as it relates to stipend as well. So, Councilor Frank, did you have anything to offer as it relates to
No.
terms?
Mr. Hudson, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So during the selection process, in the fall, I will be attending Washington University. So will I not be qualified to stay on the council since I'll be a freshman in college, or this is specifically high school students?
Well. First of all, congratulations, Ms. Berry. That
Oh,
is a huge
thank you.
accomplishment. Absolutely, absolutely. And so no, so there's not a requirement, high school versus college. Like we've had previous council members who uh, were in college, who did attend college, right? And so again, the first step would be to definitely, um, submit your name to me, acknowledging that yes, this is something that I would like to continue, and then that process will go on like that. So being in
Perfect. Thank
college
you.
definitely does not exclude you.
Thanks.
Any more questions? As it relates to terms upcoming, uh, the upcoming term, selection process, et cetera. Yep. All right. And again, feel free, like I said, reach out anytime, send me an email, and and I will get back, I will get back with you with the information.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Huddleston.
Absolutely.
I think our next item is to discuss our group work related to our equity plan. And so I invite any input or discussion in regards to that. If anyone has anything they'd like to talk about that they've been doing with that.
I would, Madam Chair, if I could, I would also like to share this before we get into that. I think that whenever we first began the discussions about the equity plans, et cetera, and the layout that was presented in terms of weeks and the months that how that the plan that the rollout takes place. I don't know that we initially factored in the fact that terms were going to be ending with some of the members. I don't, and I think that it may have been looked at that this was an ongoing council as opposed to several meetings and a new council, so forth and so on. So one of the things that I might also do, Madam Chair, is go back and report that information to director. I'm drawing a blank right now. The director of the equity and inclusion,
Mr. Murdoch?
Mr. Murdoch. Yes, thank you. So yeah, that may be one of the things that I do as well. Go back and just report, kind of the breakdown, in terms of how the council, the sessions, et cetera, and so forth. But again, feel free to anybody speak on any work that has been completed to this point.
I guess since it's supposedly the last meeting, anything that anybody's learned from the videos they've watched or the groups that they've worked with, anything like that they'd want to contribute.
Is everybody afraid to speak today for some reason? Can everybody still hear me? Can I get a show of hands again? If you could, you hear the sound of my okay. You do have okay. All right. Right. There was also really quick. I was actually contacted from Dr. Page's office, and they were asking for uh, some possible input from individuals from the Youth Advisory Council on civic engagement. But whenever I reached out for additional information that I could present, to you all to see who might be, actually interested, in participating. I have not, as of yet, heard anything back, but that is also, something that you could be receiving in the near future via email, in terms of, um, if you would like to participate in said discussion groups. But again, I haven't received any more information other than that initial email, just asking for that participation from, conversations centered around civic engagement. But uh, as soon as I hear anything else, I definitely will reach out to you all and let you know exactly what's being asked.
I'm definitely interested in participating.
Okay. Yeah, and and like I said, again, as of this date and time, I don't have any further details. Whether or not it'll be a in person thing, this format. But again, I'll definitely share that information once I get it. Toby, I see you have a hand up.
Okay, so my mic, not my mic, but the speaker cut off when you were talking, so I didn't hear anything you were talking about. I'm sorry, so could you reiterate it? Thank
Yes. Are you speaking? You're saying the last thing I spoke about, or are you speaking of everything?
like the last thing you were talking about.
Okay, no, absolutely. So, prior to this meeting, I had received an email from Dr. Page's office, and they were requesting uh, some input from Youth Advisory Council members as it relates to civic engagement. So, whenever I reached back out to gain additional information in terms of how does that look, what's exactly is needed, et cetera, and so forth, I have not yet heard anything back. I had hoped to hear back from them prior to this meeting so I could share with the group, so that everybody could, if you were interested, express that. And so one thing I was sharing is that once I hear back, I definitely will again reach out to the group via email and let you know exactly what is being asked. At this point, I'm not sure whether it's going to be or whether it would be an in-person type of situation, whether it'll be a virtual platform. At this point, I don't have any further information. But again, once I do receive any feedback, I will share with the group, and then individuals can decide if that is something um, that they would want to be a part of. Based on what's being asked, what's expected, and so forth.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
No problem. No problem.
I saw someone answered the question in the chat.
Was I supposed to be saying something else about that? I typed what I had
Oh,
in the
I
chat.
mean, it was just a general question of is since it's the last meeting, is there anything anyone would like to discuss about what they've learned or how they might contribute it to what they will do in the future? I don't know, something about the work we've been doing in groups this year.
Okay. Well, I mean, what I typed basically
Yeah.
is that you need me to go more into it. Okay.
Either way. I mean, that's really the last thing on the agenda, I think. So, unless somebody would like to contribute something else, there's not much else to say.
Madam Chair, could I make a comment? Is there anyone who is wishing to speak that is having a problem um, with their audio or unable to unmute their mics? If anybody is experiencing that, please indicate that to me in the chat, and then we will work to get that resolved. So again, if you're wanting to speak and you're having difficulty doing so, or if you're unable to unmute your mic, please indicate that in the chat, and so we will work to resolve that. I don't want anybody to not be heard if you're trying to, in fact, speak. Okay, all right. I haven't received anything in the chat. Madam Chair, and I apologize. It's off for a minute. Where were we with the agenda?
I think it really just says we were planning on having an open discussion about the equity plan, and the group work related to that. And other than that, it says there's no scheduling of a next meeting. So, uh, since we've fulfilled all 8 requirements, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I am not seeing anything in the chat from anybody. So did anybody wish to add anything else, whether it be from the group work or otherwise?
I think it was very nice to work with you all, and I enjoyed my work with the group on emergency preparedness, and I think I learned a lot from it and from all of the discussions we've had with people who work close with Sam Page over this year. Yeah.
Excellent. Toby, I see a hand.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about like the greenhouse SDL. I really appreciated like people coming in to talk about that because that was like a helpful resource for like our school because I told my AP environmental science teacher about it and she's planning on implementing that in her curriculum next year. So I just want to say thank you for like the resources and really appreciate it. And I also enjoyed working in our group.
Sounds great. Sounds great. No, thank you. Thank you for being a member.
Same.
Nice.
Yes, I can definitely say I've learned a lot throughout this amazing cohort that we're all a part of. My favorite part was when we got to do the projects with Elizabeth and we got to learn more about law and how we could just implement it. It was more of a learning process for me. So I got to hear that was one of my amazing things, and also all the presenters that we had, I really benefited from.
Sounds perfect. Sounds perfect.
I really
Uh-uh.
enjoyed working with you too, Precious. And overall, I really just love the experience of hearing everybody's diverse perspectives and getting to know a lot more about the county and its operations and some of the things that I didn't know a lot about before.
Amazing, amazing. Again, and that's definitely what our aim is to do, to work together. We have a diverse group of individuals. Uh, just getting everybody to work together to have that cohesiveness to try to get certain things addressed and be the voice of the youth. So definitely sounds like we were able to accomplish some of those things. And just as a reminder, anybody that has not submitted their name to me that would still, uh, wish to serve an additional 1 year term, if you are not in your second year, please shoot me a email as quickly as possible so that I can get that information to the powers that be.
Doing it now, Ms. Huddleston.
Thank you.
Okay. I mean, other than that, if no one else has anything to say, I think, as you said, uh, this is our 8th meeting. It marks our 8th meeting, so the requirement is filled. And since most terms are expiring soon, there's no need for another meeting. And there should be a follow-up from the county executive's office soon with the next steps. And other than that, I think we can adjourn the meeting if there's nothing else to say. Okay. Then I motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any?
Aye.
Okay. Then I think this is the end of our final meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Be safe.